The first rule I'll just list off here is I'm not here to tell you how to think or what to do or how to act or how to behave. What I am here to do today is to ask you a few questions that are going to challenge you what you think and how you've been and who you think you are. So we're talking about power, politics, resources, personal versus social problems, and politics is always personal. And the thing that I would source out to you, you're in this class, you're learning this, and so my question to all of you is, what is it that you want? Like, what is it that you want? Be able to survive, okay? Yeah. Complete individual, to live. What else? One more. Yeah. Ooh, okay. Wait, to make your community a better place by what?
By better understanding it.
By better understanding it. Okay, that's what's up. So this is great. Thank you for all this. So we talked about what this class is about. We talked about what you want. And now we're just gonna, as I just erased all that. We'll get back to that in a little bit. The question I have for you is, how do you get what you want? How do you make your living? How do you make your community a better place? How do you better understand the things around you? What do you get out of applying sociology to history? How do you get this? But yeah, that's one way to get it. Play the game. Yeah. True. And this is interesting. We talked about jobs a lot. Has anybody experienced life outside of a job? Raise your hand. Yeah, everybody's had a life outside of a job, right? So applying for this job or applying cultural things you learned here to a job, can you apply these same cultural things to your life as well? You said better your community. Can that start with you're at the dinner table with your family? Can that start with you're at the dorm having a conversation with a friend? Can that start with you have a conversation with somebody on a bus? God forbid, Minnesota. But can that start somewhere outside of the job? We talk about having these jobs and then the mobility, right? Economically, great, cool. We're exchanging time for money. But the other thing is, can you exchange something else for community value? And it's not time. Maybe it's time, maybe it's spirit, maybe it's energy, maybe it's a shared experience that's very traumatic. Who knows? We did a show here at the U of M, and the idea is that how can you get communities to understand better about themselves through tough, uncomfortable, dissonant conversation? And the biggest thing that I've learned on my end is that whenever you're feeling uncomfortable, lean right into it. Like, go for it. I have seen men crack so many dumb, stupid jokes when we're talking about assault because our limbic systems, when we feel uncomfortable, we either go into defensiveness, we go into play where we make a joke, or traumatically we just dissociate, we walk out. I've seen black people walk right out of the auditorium because some white person said something just goofy and out of control. I'll never forget it at Augsburg. Some white woman said something and like a black dude got up and five people came to him and they were like, had to calm him down and getting him in the hallway. And the idea is that you all think you may know each other well here in this classroom because you're civilized under the guise of a classroom. But really, if I put y'all on a highway surrounded by 300 to 400 SWAT people, you'd really find out who the F you are. And you'd really find out who the F is with you. Because when you're in the foxhole with somebody, raise your hand if you've been in a relationship. Yeah. When you're vulnerable with somebody, it's scary sometimes. And sometimes when you're really vulnerable with somebody and they end up just totally vacating, you're like, wow, that's who you are. Okay. Or you may do the same thing too. Again, as I say, I'm not here to teach you. I'm not here to ask you to behave a certain way, be a certain way, or do a certain thing. I'm just here to ask you a lot of questions and challenge you on what you think, because what you think is really important right now, whether you like it or not. It actually really is. And sometimes you may feel really, really not valuable. Some mornings you wake up and you're just like, F it. Okay? And some days you may feel a lot more valid than other days, and that's okay. And I'm meeting you where you're at, so if you're not talking, I'd say okay. If you are talking, great. So getting back to what we're saying here, how do you get what you want? Is it only through a job? What are some other means? Let's really brainstorm here, outside of a job or a school, how do we make our community better or learn more about sociology? Can you learn about sociology outside of a classroom? Can you hit me up? What are some ways that you've gotten what you wanted or like ascended like outside of a classroom? Volunteer program? Hell yeah. Yeah, totally. Yeah. Being vulnerable and making connections. Whoa. I love that one. Last one. Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to word this correctly, but
That's okay. There's no way to word it correctly. Just go for it. Show me your friends, I'll show you your future type of deal.
yeah.
There's another saying, if you hang out with 9 crack addicts, you're probably going to be the 10th. It's the way it happens. There's this theory I have. It's not in the sociology book yet. Black people that play hockey, kind of going back to what you were saying, my theory is they see the Matrix. Because hockey is a brutal sport, there's no repercussions for being violent. You fight somebody, go in the box. You punch somebody in basketball, it's, oh God, we got to suspend him for blah, blah. But hockey, it's like, yeah, you punch him in the mouth, he's bleeding, so what? He's a goon, he's a defender, whatever. But my theory is, most of the black people I've known in hockey, when it's like, you can't hear things on the rink, right? Basketball court, you can hear it. Not on a football field, you can't really hear what's going on. But a hockey rink, they're getting called N-word all the time. They're getting called crazy stuff all the time. Why? Because it's not public facing. So black people playing hockey, there's this whole dehumanized, non-public, very private, nasty racial violence occurring. And then they get off the rink, and then we all go to the bar, wherever around campus. They want to fight every white person in sight. What's going on? It's literally carrying the same trauma from the rink to the real world. And I know maybe some people might be perturbed by this because there's no trigger warning, but we're in a sociology room, just going to talk about it. Enough is enough. He went up and punched somebody. I know some people that have been assaulted, they're like, no, I'm putting the name out. Enough is enough. And it's when you reach it's that space between, like, this whole room is like, we'd say, wow, this is X amount of square feet. It's a lot of space. For some people, for other people, that space has been encroaching in until you're right here. And then what happens when you're right here? I'm either going to cower and just, shrink down, or I'm going to kick somebody and come out swinging. I need some more space in my life. Now, that may be seen as violent. Oh, that person lost their mind. Oh, that woman's crazy. She started snapping on somebody. She slapped the crap out of him. What's wrong with her? That black dude just lost his mind over there. He knocked that guy out outside the bar. What is the carried trauma from a life experience? We all talk about getting what we want. This is the point of getting what we want. Great, awesome, cool. Some people were already here, okay? And I'm talking about this economically. Yeah, you ever heard the term what's the word again? Has to work twice as hard to get half as far? Yeah. So it's like you can see the whole matrix ahead of you and you're like, holy crap, I'm gonna have to do some things here. Or you can see some people that were born on third base and they're like, wow, this is the beginning. And it's like, no, it's not. Some people have started here, some people have started here. Some people start here, and the idea, although it may be possible, but sociologically, there was a study done at Flatbush in New York where it said the likelihood of somebody from Flatbush going to college is this. And it was astronomically low. It was effed up. So everybody starts at a different place economically. And the question is, what is the trauma that everybody's carrying to get to that space where they want to be economically? We talked about jobs, but I'm going to challenge you to think a little further. Beyond money, it's crazy, right? Is what do you want for your life? What kind of sibling do you want to be? What kind of son, daughter, what kind of friend do you want to be? That's a huge one. What kind of friend do you want to be? What kind of partner do you want to be? Undoubtedly, you're going to have to leave this classroom. Undoubtedly, you're going to have to leave this campus. What kind of life do you want to have outside of that? Well, the thing is that it's, and I hope you all study this, is optional ignorance versus misinformed ignorance. A lot of people are like, oh God, so many guns on the street, dealing drugs, oh, criminals. And it's like, okay, yeah, they're not like Dr. Doom's cousins, okay? Like, this isn't people woke up and like, I'd like to see some humans suffer today. Give them drugs. Shoot a gun in the air. That's called survivalism. When I said what I say about the corner, property violence. Yeah, I mean, like, the building's gonna come back. You know, I don't know if anybody outside of like cleaning the place has lost a job or been like economically impacted. Police have gotten more money since then. You know, and whoever was cleaning that place probably is cleaning the building that's downtown now. That's third precinct, that new third precinct. So you're right. And it's a white friend of mine asked me after Freddie Gray got murdered by the Baltimore police and they were burning downtown. And she's like, and she said this in this way. I'm not trying to like over dramatize it. She said, Tucson, why are they just burning everything? And I said, well, if somebody treated you like disposable garbage and you didn't want to treat them the same way, you just wanted to do that to their house and show them how it feels, then why not? Poetically go for it. You know, like, the whole point isn't like eye for an eye. It's like eye for your house. You know, and it's like, you can rebuild your house. You cannot rebuild back an eye. And it's so like that, going along with what you're saying, yeah, it's like, why not just take down the thing that they use to enforce the violence? 2020 happened and I involved myself and began speaking out at marches. And the speech that I was doing at marches, for me, is relative to the brick going through the McDonald's window. Kind of had to do it to figure out, well, I don't know if I want to be putting bricks through windows like this or saying it like this. And a lot of white people that I know were like, Tucson, this is coming off terribly divisive racially. And I'd be like, well, I'm kind of tired and I don't have time to parse my words for you. And I didn't, and I still don't. But the issue is that it wasn't about making white people feel comfortable. It was about still having the conversation. It was about, you may not feel comfortable while having this conversation. I may not feel comfortable while having this conversation. I haven't felt comfortable for a very long time. And so it's not about comfort at this point. And so what the work then turned into was privately meeting with families that have been affected by police violence, people that have been affected by, that wanted to unionize at their work or start something, and then be like, okay, well, how do you want to do that? How do you want to go about that? And then help them out to get to where they want to go. Oh, you want me to speak at a press conference? Cool. Well, let me figure out all the information to speak on that and help you out. And then that was the work going forward. And then beyond that, it's like, well, do I got to wait for somebody to get killed by the cops to start talking about stuff? No, probably not. Do I got to wait for something bad to happen to somebody to talk about it? No. Do you got to wait for something bad to happen for you to do something? No, not at all. And so that work that was publicly outside then became publicly online. And it's like, hey, Minnesota bans conversion therapy. What's conversion therapy? It's the shit where they sit people down and they try to convince them to not be who they feel that they are. Like, it's wild and it's crazy, but Minnesota banned it. All these other states haven't. Take a look into it. These books have been deemed unlawful in Florida. Here's why. And then you keep going down the line and teaching people things, and you say it in a way that's like informative, as opposed to, you know, you need to think this way. This is what's going on. Get in line now. Because somebody's going to tell you that anyways. I just don't need to be the one. But that became the work. And so with your work here, obviously you're learning stuff. You're going to implement it in the real world and be able to, you know, hold conversations and, you know, act within the world however you want to act. But there is a cost to going public with it. There is a deep, deep cost, especially just me being black anywhere. There's an effing cost with it. There ain't no going to be no like me pulling up to Cafe Cereza in Linden Hills and I just like get my coffee and sit down. I get my coffee and sit down and people are looking at me already. It's odd, but you're not going to be able to see it if you're up here as opposed to when you're down here. So I see it, I feel it. This is what it is. It's fine. But that the idea is I'm able to take the brunt of that. So what are the costs that come with speed round, 3 minutes? What are some of the historical costs that have come with people saying public things that wanted to change the political universe outside of them? Go. Yeah. Yep. What else? What else? Impersonment. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, there you go. Impersonation. We're just going to put this here. Anything else? What happens when they speak out publicly? We got to take them out. What do we got to do? What do we want to affect? What do we want to hit? One more thing. Yeah. Ooh, yeah, take away their freedom. Get them out of here. Okay. All these things have been threatened to me. All of them. And it keeps happening. All the time. That's the cost. And there's more. But these are the ones that you can think of. You sit down and imagine it for a little bit longer. That's the cost. That's the cost. And I don't get paid to do what I do. The thing is, a lot of people say, you should run for, and this is a good sequitur towards the end here. Some people will say, so-and-so should run for city council. You should run for mayor. And I'm like, nah, don't want to do that. No. A lot of it, and what you'll find, and it's for some people. Some of you may be great candidates to run for elected official, like a chair and elected official. I'm not downing that at all. Some people can do it. Like they can ride the lightning, go for it. The issue is a lot of those jobs are made to be hated. So once you get there, you got to be able to take the heat. Otherwise, hey, I'm bartending at so-and-so, or I work at the clinic down or, I work for the law firm over there. Don't ask, don't tell. Nobody knows my name. I just get my money and I walk out the door. But an elected official position, all of this stuff that's your whole career forever. So that's just there. So just like take that into account as well. With that position comes these things that are not on the LinkedIn position profile. So understand that. I'm going to get into what you just said. Does anybody do hair here? Anybody know how to do hair at all? Nails? Anything? Yeah? Okay. To get a license in that, it's about 1,500 hours, 1,200 hours. To get a license to become a cop, it's about 600, 500. This is a universal law. Look at the standard to enter any profession, to enter any relationship, to enter anything, and it will tell you everything about the realm that is inside. The idea is look at the standard to get into anywhere, and it will tell you about what is going on inside of there. The standard to become a cop is so low. If we all did a social science experiment and we all said, hey, it's February 2023, come right back here, August 2023, let's find out how many of us are officers. Everybody in here is probably going to be a police officer. I ask you not. We could do it right now. And you'd be getting paid $70K. Minneapolis would give you like a $5,000 sign-on bonus. Because they can't get people to take up a job with such piss poor standards and such a bad track record that once you watch what's going to happen in Memphis. It's the same thing that happened in Akron, Ohio. They killed Akron, Ohio. They shot a guy 47 times. 9 of the officers went away that shot him. And then 2 months later, chief had to bring him back and say, we're really low on staff here, so I need to bring those guys back. We're in a crisis right now. He used the word crisis. The issue is that, and you can be pro-cop or anti-cop, it doesn't matter. When you have something like, I don't even know where I put that thing. When you have a status quo and then you have a public-facing F-up, it goes this way. Anytime. Not with Target or Starbucks, because it'll be a blip and they might miss a few dollars here and there. But with something like a police department, that happens. So then they're moving at here. Minneapolis Police Department's operating at like half their police officers because they did it to themselves. Nobody did it to them. And everybody that quit got pensions. They're getting $59,000 a year. They say, oh, God, I got PTSD from the riots. So, well, here's $150K. Go to Arizona, start a banana stand, which happened to one of the police officers. She sprayed mace on like 24 people. And she said she's the one that's traumatized. So she moved to Arizona, got $150K, makes $60,000 a year, but vacates here. So to answer your question, can you teach that? The people that are already there, I'm going to say that's going to be tough because they're already there. You're with people, the the average rate of domestic assault by police officers, admittedly on surveys, is 40%. Normal people that aren't officers admit to 4 to 10% of domestic assault throughout the past year. 40% for police officers. So these people are already, and when I say these people, I mean these people and their behavior is already engaged in permitted violence. And so psychologically, if you steal a Snickers bar from the corner store and nobody says anything, you're probably gonna do it again until you get caught. So, and this goes to a bigger lesson that I'll expand out here very shortly. When should you be able to make a turn or pivot in your life? Does it have to be through pain and being caught, or can it be through, you just making the choice?